When I first got Sophie, she was just 8 weeks old. There were 3 burning questions on my mind. As it happens, I found lots of new Golden Doodle puppy owners are asking the same thing about their new pup. Let's take a look to see what they are. Hello, this is Joanna with My Golden Doodle Diary, a channel all about Golden Doodles. My sidekick here is Sophie, as in sleeping Sophie on the sofa. Subscribe if you'd like to follow along. Now that Sophie has turned 3, I have a bit of hindsight to draw on. I can answer some of those burning questions I used to have. The first is, how big will my puppy be as an adult? Look, I was all for having a bigger dog, but I wasn't in any hurry for my puppy to grow up. I was hoping to enjoy the process. As it happens, Sophie and actually all very young puppies are in the midst of a growth frenzy. At 8 weeks old, when I first acquired Sophie, she weighed 3.3 kilos or 7.5 pounds. Just 1 week later, she weighed 4.2 kilos, gaining almost a quarter of her body weight since the previous week. Just 1 month and a bit later, she was 7 kilograms, meaning she doubled her initial weight during that time. Add to this the Golden Doodle coat growing longer and longer, which gives the impression of yet more size, and I found all this growth a bit alarming. According to the size of both her parents, she wasn't expected to exceed 20 kilograms, but at this rate, I was beginning to think she'll become as big as a bear. Actually, it's all quite normal. For the first 4 or 5 months, puppies grow exponentially. In Sophie's case, between about 4.5 months and nearly 6 months of age, she hovered around the 10 kilogram mark, still growing but much more slowly, reaching her full adult weight at around 1 year and 4 months old. As I mentioned, it's good to know the weight of the puppy's parents because that's an indicator of the expected adult size of the pup. It's not absolute because there are exceptions, but it's a very good estimate. Sophie's parents were 18 kilograms and 19 kilograms, and that is the range that her adult weight fluctuates between, just as expected. Another way of looking at it is her final adult weight was 5.5 to 6 times the initial weight at 8 weeks of age. Also, female dogs tend to weigh on the lighter end and male dogs on the heavier end of the weight range between the 2 parent dogs. The second question is, what will my puppy's adult coat be like? So yes, the coat is a big feature of Golden Doodles. There are 5 aspects of the coat: texture, colour, the degree of curliness, the length, by which I mean how long it grows, and also how much or little it sheds. Speaking about coat texture, puppies will start with the so-called puppy coat, a relatively finer, softer coat than the one they have in later life. Then the adult coat begins to grow through between about 5 and 12 months. During this time, it may change a little or a lot. The dog may end up with a straight, a loose wave, or a more pronounced curl. Other times it may be a shaggy coat. Sometimes the coat won't grow much and the dog will have a flat coat, just like its Golden Retriever relatives. In those instances, it may not grow facial furnishings on its snout. Sometimes the coat is soft and matte, other times it becomes more coarse overall or coarser on certain parts of the body. Very young puppies have not yet had the chance to grow enough of a coat to know for certain what the adult coat will end up like, but experienced breeders should be able to give a pretty good prediction. Another thing is the coat colour may change in adulthood. Generally for Golden Doodles, there is the tendency for colours to fade in the first year or so. For instance, pure black Golden Doodle pups may end up with some lighter colours growing through in adulthood. It depends on what colour genes the puppy has inherited because sometimes the colours do remain the same. If you're picking up your puppy around the age of 8 weeks, You should begin to have an idea if the coat sheds or not just by patting it. There is sometimes a period when puppies shed more when they're changing from the puppy coat to their adult coat. During this time, the coat is very prone to matting. In Sophie's instance, the biggest noticeable difference is the coat became lighter in colour. She also developed slightly coarser hair on her tail and back, interspersing the soft, fluffy coat. Her ears initially had curly hair and later got straight and never curled again. She hardly sheds at all, and that remained consistent from puppyhood to adulthood. There was never a shedding phase with her. If you'd like to know more info about her particular coat, take a look at the video linked above, right here and in the description. The final question is something most Golden Doodle puppy owners can't help but wonder about. How much of a poodle and how much of a golden retriever is my puppy? I think it's typical for owners of hybrid breeds. It's a little bit like looking at a baby and wondering if it takes after the mum or the dad. You can look at this in terms of genetics. If you have an F1 Golden Doodle, for instance, it means it's a first crossing between a Golden Retriever and a Poodle. So the dog is genetically 50% of each. But what I'm talking about is more of a speculation, because often the actual Golden Retriever traits and Poodle traits have come through differently with individual pups. New puppy owners often ask, show me, say, an F1 Golden Doodle in adulthood, thinking they'll get a preview of what the puppy will grow up to be. The thing is, even among Golden Doodles of the same generation, whether it's F1, F1B, etc., there can be differences in coat size, colour and general look, even among siblings from the same litter. Sophie is a third generation Golden Doodle. Her parents and grandparents were 50% Golden Retrievers and Poodles. Genetically, that makes her half and half. But when I look at her, things like her personality, her slender build, her curled over tail, her coat, in my estimation, it's about 70% of her turned out Poodle and 30% Golden Retriever. Looking at her as a puppy, I was convinced she'd turn out more like a Golden Retriever. Well, she turned out how she turned out, and I couldn't have known precisely. The reality of Golden Doodles is they sometimes vary. Breeders may have specific directions they're aiming for, but Mother Nature has the final say. So with Golden Doodles, you have good reason to wonder how your puppy will turn out. So long as you have the right expectation that there is some degree of unpredictability in the end, a Golden Doodle is the right breed for you. And that's all I have for you today. If you have any other questions you're wondering about, let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe for more and like this video if you found it useful. Thank you and see you next time.